Hey, a warm welcome back to Connect and Convert, your sales accelerator podcast where small business owners tune in to learn the insider secrets about how to grow their sales faster than ever. Hi, Leah. How are you? Leah Bumphry.
Good. And Dennis, I want to tell you, don't
Tell me.
get nearly enough time with you, not nearly enough time with producer Paul. You guys beautifully invited me to be part of this podcast. That's almost 2 years ago now, and I've
Well, I
loved
think
every
that was a
minute of
pretty
it.
smart move. That was a pretty smart move on our part,
I have
actually.
some questions. And these are going to be
No,
tough questions.
we don't do questions. Sorry. No.
Okay, so I know that we are sponsored by wizardacademy.org. And
We
that is
are.
because we love it and because they understand what it is that we're trying to achieve for small business.
They
But how
do.
did this idea start, Dennis? Tell me how it started because I
I'll tell
wasn't
you
here.
how I'll tell you how it started for me, okay? I'll give you my own personal first time Wizard Academy, okay? The first thing is you have to understand, those of you who know the Academy and know the 22-acre campus that it sits on, there was no campus. It was a building that was part of Roy Williams marketing, and on the bottom floor of that building was a makeshift classroom that was very small, and my first experience there was to see Michelle Miller, who is a Wizard of Ads partner and an author and quite a very studious and very capable person. And her topic was marketing to women. Okay, marketing to women. She eventually wrote 2 books about that, but I had radio stations that appealed mostly to women. Okay, I think
Mhm.
my Light FM was probably 75% female audience. So I really needed to learn everything I could learn about marketing to women. And Michelle taught me that. And I never stopped going. Roy Williams, I met him personally for the first time there, and he picked me up in his pickup truck and took me up to this spot, a top of a hill in the hill country of Austin, Texas. And he said, "There's going to be a campus on this spot." I said, "Okay, Roy. Yeah. Okay. When's that going to be, Roy? I mean, how soon?" And I did not know Roy well enough to know that when Roy says he's going to do something, he does it. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sure enough, a few years later, it started sprouting up. I guess it was kind of magical to kind of be in on the ground floor of what's now the Academy, Tuscan Hall, which is now the property of Penny and Roy Williams. They use it for private events. That was the first classroom.
Yep.
And
I was actually there.
it was a magnificent building to hold a class in. I taught classes there and I also took classes there. So, yeah, my story goes way back to the very beginning. This is 20 plus years ago. How
Okay.
about
So
you?
now I want you to fast forward for me, Dennis. How did you and Paul create or start thinking about creating Connect and Convert?
Oh, geez.
Because that came from your Wizard Association. Producer Paul might just pop in here.
I've known Paul for, I bet, close to 20 years. I mean, I met him. He was one of the first partners when Roy decided to go the partnership route. And of
Yep.
course, I had known him from being at the Academy. He was a frequent flyer there as well. And that's where I got to know probably all of the original partners because I went to the Academy so often. Okay. So that's how I got to know him. When I became a Wizard of Ads partner, I was immediately attracted to employee optimization. That's what Paul is in charge of for the Wizard of Ads partners.
Okay.
And that was the, closest thing that fit what I do. Okay. So I immediately called him and we started talking and we just started brainstorming. I had always wanted a podcast. It's one thing, I think I told you that, Paul. I always wanted to do a podcast and I just never had the topic. I never had the people to help me. I needed help. And all of a sudden it appeared. Isn't that something? Isn't that what happens
But this
when
is what you talked about Roy. Roy saw something and then it happened. You're the same guy, Dennis. You see what you want to make happen and it happens. Am I not right, Paul?
You're absolutely
That's
right,
just
and that's the funny thing that you just said. He said, "I didn't have the topics." Yeah, bull. You had a lot of topics, and that's why I said, "We're doing this thing called Connect and Convert." And you said, "Great, let's do it." So we did it,
yeah,
and here we are.
Paul pushed me into it, and not that I went kicking and screaming. I loved every minute of it. But, that was the first time that I actually had a catalyst. We often need catalysts in life, don't we?
It's
What's
true.
that old saying? When the student is ready, the teacher appears. That's kind of what
Mhm.
happened. The teacher appeared, the mentor appeared, and here we are,
Well,
almost 2 years.
I love
Years
being part
we
of it with you guys. I love being part of it all. Now, we have a couple of things that we offer to our listeners and our viewers. So,
did.
Dennis, I know you particularly love the free one that we do, the big free one. So, why don't you tell?
Yes, it's free because we really want to see how we might be able to help you. Okay. And the best way to do it is to just have a talk. Okay. And yeah, it's a structured talk. We have some things that we'll ask you, some things about you, about your business. We care about how you founded your business, why you founded your business. We care about how you run and operate your business. We care about all that stuff because that is important to whatever it is we eventually might be able to do with you. And, we don't come in with any preconceived ideas. Obviously, Leah and I work mostly I'm sorry, in the culture, leadership, sales, marketing, not so marketing. Most of our other partners are experts at marketing. Now, Leah, of course, is a gifted writer. Paul is a gifted coach when it comes to strategy, when it comes to leadership. And so we all kind of have our separate niche, but we can probably handle most anything you need to make your business grow. That's what we do. We grow businesses and we can do it in many different ways.
That's perfect. I love the way you said that. Now, Paul, when we have people that are not maybe ready for 60 minutes free with us, you are the guy who takes on all those emails that we get where people are asking specific questions. So, do you want to speak to how that works or do you want me to go?
You go for it.
All right. I mean, sometimes there's just things from the topics that we're talking about or some other sales process that you're hearing about that you're going to want to know, what do these guys think or have they heard about it? Or maybe it's even something that we'll take as an idea for a future show. You can email myself, you can email Dennis, Leah
Yes.
Bumphry at wizardofads.com or Dennis Collins at wizardofads.com. Paul Boomer at wizardofads.com. Send us an email or at the bottom of this podcast. Our contact information is there. If you have a question, we will answer it. And when we answer it, we're thrilled because it's an opportunity we call it a gravity. Right now, you're listening to us and you're getting some ideas, and we want to take you closer and closer to taking full advantage of how marketing, how culture, how business should be. And that's what we're about.
That's what we're about.
And
Absolutely.
yes, yes.
I had to
And a
use
little
my
bit of hockey talk on the side, right, Dennis?
I had to use my
So
Canadian
I have
accent.
a question for you, Leah.
Yes.
How did you get into the Wizard Academy? Now, before you answer that, I want to make sure that we distinguish Wizard Academy and Wizard of Ads are two separate entities, completely separate. But there's a lot of cross pollination. Wizard Academy is a nonprofit business school. It's a non-traditional, nonprofit, non-boring business school. The Wizard of Ads is a group of misfits that were extremely good at our niches and
Seriously.
extremely good. I mean, I often ask, why am I here? But they are two separate entities. But I want to know from Yulia, how did you get involved with Wizard Academy?
I was very fortunate to be working for a radio group in Canada, very forward thinking, very customer first, owned by a couple of brothers who were very intent on doing things right. They actually had a sales system that they called the 7 steps to glory, if I remember correctly, the 7 steps to glory. Wow. And, that's a little bit, if you want to talk about different language, they had everyone's attention at that. But they were introduced to The Wizard of Ads, Roy's first book. And then someone in the organization went and saw him speak, and then someone else, and they went, this guy, his philosophy and our philosophy, they match. We got to have him come up here. So Roy was brought up to Saskatchewan, hard to spell, fun to say. And Roy toured around the province. And this is back in the day that you could get him to come out of Texas and out of his comfort zone a little. And we had him speaking to thousands of business owners. And as a salesperson, I loved having information on how to really run with what I knew was a great product, was word of mouth to the next level, but how to explain it. He gave us that framework. And from there, it took me a few years, but I finally was able to go to his signature course, The Magical Worlds, and that was just when he had moved from Buda, Texas, to where Dennis got to tour, and Tuscan Hall was where we met. And I was there going, "Oh my goodness." So I just kept going and kept going. And eventually Roy told Rolco Radio, that's the radio group, to just, you know what, you run with it. It's not Roy's way that you should be calling it. It's the Rolco way. But I just kept tapped into Roy and a lot of his information and his Monday morning memo, and that gave me the opportunity to take more and more classes and ultimately to meet people like you guys who are just like-minded. It's about customer, it's about business, it's about how can you make a difference? And I just found my tribe.
Wow, I wanna go there, Leah. You make me wanna get on a plane right now.
That's what we're trying to get people to do. That's why they should be emailing us and talking to us because wow,
Did
I
we
just
tell them
love
the wizardacademy.org, right? Wizardacademy.org is the website, and on that website, you will find classes. They don't
Mhm.
have traditional business school titles, and that's on purpose, okay?
Yep.
Because they are not traditional business school classes. They are totally untraditional, but totally mind expanding, okay?
And
I
that's the
dare
right way to say it.
I dare you to go to a class at Wizard Academy and not leave there at the end of usually it's what, a couple days, 2 days,
Yep.
and your head will be exploding in a good way. Okay? Look at that.
After the first time I went, Dennis, and I've told you and Paul this story, I was absolutely determined that my 3 boys were gonna go. So far, 2 out of 3 of them have, and Fletcher, he's gone, I think, more times than I actually have been able to get down there. My husband is gone. It is just wonderful to find people that really care, information that really works, and is about growth and doing things the right way, which is what we're doing at Convert and Connect.
A retreat, not a resort. Yeah, but it kind of feels like a resort. The rooms in Engelbrecht House in Spence Manor.
Yep.
Wow. You'll say, yes. Excuse me? I don't know. We've been talking about this for a long time, haven't we, Leah? What's holding you back? What's stopping you? Okay.
I wanna go
Are
right
you
now. I'm gonna start
you
checking
afraid?
flights.
I mean, the food? Oh, they cater in the food while you're in class? Wow. Some of the best restaurants in Austin, Texas are used to cater in your food. You don't have to go out to eat. Right there, it's all there for you, and it's top drawer food.
If you go
And
online and looking and you have questions, ask us the questions about it. Let us know what is holding you back, because we will find a way to talk you into it, and not sell you on it, but talk you into why.
And I guarantee you, you will make friends that you will have for the rest of your life. I still know people that I met there in, like, the Wizard Partners who are now I'm partners with, but these folks I'll know for the rest of my life. And there are certain people, not even Wizard Partners, that I met there and cherish that meeting. Good people. Get the
Absolutely.
plane. Look at the website. Make a choice. You can't go wrong. And the cool thing is once you become an alumni, you get 50% off of the list price of a class, okay? Once you become an alumni, forever.
It's true.
One class, you get it forever.
Ah,
Wh
all
what
right.
more
We gotta go,
what
Dennis.
Yeah, we do. Let's wrap this one up. This was a special edition of Connect and Convert, a little bit about our sponsor, the Wizard Academy, wizardacademy.org. Look them up. You'll love it. Connect and Convert will be back soon with another episode for small business owners looking for insider secrets to grow sales faster than ever. See you next time.
Send in your questions.